lasagna is a labour of love, and I say it's a labour of love because there is so much going on. I've got 3 types of meat in this. I've got eggplant, buffalo mozzarella, fresh pasta sheets at the back there, and some good quality prosciutto. But to start with, we've got to make the sauce. And for the sauce, I'm using veal osso bucco, so nice white veal. I'm also going to use the bone marrow from it. So it's quite extensive, so we better get started. So I'm going to turn on my heat here with a pan, and this sauce is going to cook for 2 hours. I want this meat to get nice and soft. So I've got some olive oil here, and add it to our pan. And we just want to seal this meat off, okay? So we want it nice and golden. So this is like an osso bucco where I'm going to put some lemon zest in it. I'm going to put some thyme. So we'll just get that colour. I'm going to put some salt and pepper at this stage. I've been making lasagna since I was 8 years old, and I've changed it and it's gotten better over time. And I think by far, this version that I'm making now is the best. So we're going to turn this over now to see if it's nice and golden brown. So while that's colouring on the other side, I'm going to get my other ingredients ready. So I've got 2 pieces of lemon zest going into this. It's going to give it a lovely lemony flavour. I've also got an onion here, which I'm going to dice. So cut in half. And this doesn't have to be perfect because, again, it's going to be cooking for a very long time. So we just want it to be a rough dice. And that's about right now. So now I'm going to start adding out the other meat. So I've got some of the free-range beef here. And we're just going to get that nice and coloured too. So again, everyone's lasagna is different, and the way that you make the bolognese sauce is up to you. But I think this texture of having that soft meat that's cooked really, really slow is lovely against the softness of the mince. And I mean, by all means, I've done this just with the veal osso bucco, but just change it up. So this is why I've done it like this. So that meat's sealed off now. I'm just going to quickly remove it from the pan and place it in a bowl. And I'm just going to get onto my onions. And I mean, you can put the onions in straight away, but I want to get them nice and caramelised because, again, that's going to bring lovely flavour to the dish. And you can see with this veal, once it's cooked slowly, there's going to be the bone marrow that's going to come out of the bone. And I'm going to use that to flavour the sauce even more, give it a rich flavour. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, so on high heat again. And another little bit of oil. Just a touch. I'm going to pop that in. I've also got 2 anchovies, and you won't taste the fishiness off it. This is just going to give it that lovely depth of flavour. It's going to dissolve. You won't even know they're there. Now I've got 4 cloves of garlic here, and I'm just going to roughly slice these. Okay, go straight in. I've also got some thyme here, and I'm just going to take the leaves off. 2 or 3 sprigs is plenty. So make sure you use the same pan when you're caramelising your onions. Again, you don't want to be washing up something else. And you've got all those flavours from that meat there. So just by scratching it on the bottom here, it's lifting all those sugars off and giving that lovely caramel flavour which we're looking for. I think that's about right. I'm going to now add our meat back into the pot. And all those juices. And then you can see I'm making a huge pot here because once it's cooked down for a long time, it's going to shrink a little bit. So I want to make sure that we've got quite a lot. And of course, there's lots of bones in there, so they won't be there later. We're going to add our lemon peel now. Okay. I've got a tablespoon of tomato paste straight in. I'm going to give that a stir. I'm now going to deglaze this with some white wine and a good glug of that. And now we're going to bring that to the boil, reduce it by half, and we're going to add the tomatoes. So that's reduced a little bit now. I'm going to add the fresh tomatoes. I've got 2 tomatoes here, and you can use canned if you like for this. and some passata, so tomato puree, and use a good quality one that doesn't have any flavourings already in it. Last but not least, we've got some basil here, and I'm just going to pick that in, and that's going to cook down with the sauce. Okay, so one last mix. Fantastic. So now I'm going to cook that for 1.5 to 2 hours on a really slow heat, and we're going to wait until that meat is falling off the bone. So my sauce has been cooking now for 1.5 hours and it's looking fantastic. And what I've done is just taken out the veal osso bucco just so it can cool down a little bit so I can handle it. And look at this, it is so tender and soft, it's just falling apart. So what I'm doing is using my hands just to separate the meat. I'm just gonna place it back into the sauce, and I'm not wasting anything. There's bone marrow in the veal bone. So what I'm going to do is use the back of a spoon, and we're just going to take that out, and that's going to give it a lovely rich flavour. So nothing is wasted. Right, now we're ready to assemble the lasagna. Got a big cast iron dish here, and I'm going to start by layering the meat first. And I mean, this is not elaborate, fancy food by any means. This is comfort food at its best. This is why I love Italian food. It's all about the produce. I've got some eggplant that I've just quickly grilled here. I've got some bechamel sauce. And then we've got buffalo mozzarella here, which we're gonna layer. So we're gonna put the sauce down the bottom first. I mean, this is cooking that I love to do on the weekend. You take the whole day to do it. You get your friends to come over in the evening. You know, everyone can enjoy this. Just serve simply like this with a glass of red wine and a nice crisp salad. I mean, you don't need anything else. And I mean, I usually take the time to make my pasta sheets here, but today I've bought some, and these ones are just as good. I just recommend not using the dry ones for this because it soaks up too much of the sauce, and I don't want it to become too dry. I want it to keep nice and moist. Now I'm going to add the first layer of the pasta sheets. So one there. So it's sort of like a patchwork at this stage, but once you've done the first layer, it's quite fast. Just got to make sure it's right to start with. So press that down. We're going to add another meat layer. Just take out any of the stalks from the thyme. And make sure you get into those corners and get that sauce, because you don't want to leave any bits of the pasta sheets showing because we don't want them to get crispy. We want them to stay nice and soft. Okay, so now I'm going to add the last meat in this, which is some prosciutto. That's going to give it that smoky, cured flavour. I'll tell you what, this is like a little surprise. And every time I make this for my family and friends and they see there's prosciutto in it. Okay, now I'm going to add some bechamel. And for the bechamel, I've just pre-made this. We've just made a roux with some butter and flour, and then we've slowly added some milk. I've also added 2 bay leaves in that to give it that lovely herby feel. So I'm adding just a tiny bit of this. I don't want to overdo it because I've got some other cheeses to go with this. So maybe 2 tablespoons at the most. This is just to keep it nice and moist. And by all means, if you don't want to put the bechamel in, you can leave that out. So now we've got our grilled eggplant. And for this layer, I'm not going to continue on with this. I'm just going to leave that in the centre. So if you can think when you're cutting the lasagna, you'll have one layer of this lovely eggplant. There we go. So now for the cheeses, I've chosen some buffalo mozzarella here. So I'm just going to slice them. And this is going to be nice and gooey after it's come out of the oven. So we're going to just scatter it around. You can break them up if you like. So now I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese, just a little bit. Okay, so that's one layer done. We're going to continue the steps now. So we're up to the last layer now, and we're just going to finish off this meat. Now make sure you don't overflow it because we don't want it to be dribbling in the oven. So just make sure we spread that out evenly. And this is the crucial point when we get up to this, because we want to make sure that none of the pasta is showing here, because the direct heat in the oven will make it all crispy, and I don't want to make chips from the pasta dough. I want it to be nice and soft. Perfect. Okay, so 1 more tablespoon of the bechamel sauce, because this is where the creamy, gooey top that we want from the cheese and the bechamel is going to happen. And finally, a big handful of Parmesan. And what I'm going to do at this stage is cook it in a 180-degree oven. I'm going to cover it with some foil because I want the pasta to cook through. And the last half an hour, I'm going to take the foil off and we're going to make sure that that top is nice and golden brown. And then it's ready to eat. At this lasagna. If this is not the best lasagna you've seen, I don't know what is. So I'm gonna cut a nice big chunk out. I mean, for me, this is good, honest food at its best. No small pieces. All right, and we're just gonna try to carefully, it's very hot, so just carefully take that out. So there you have it. That rich bolognese sauce, the bechamel, the soft, lovely eggplant. For me, this just reiterates why I love cooking so much and why I love eating so much. So I'm gonna have a taste. Honestly, that's the best lasagna.